Let me welcome our viewers around the world to the studios of Platform Media International, PMI, Political Arena. Tonight I have in the studios on my left Obi Iziadibe, a software engineer based in Vancouver, Canada. Obi, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Joe.
Welcome back again. I had you last time, and on my right I have Ebenezer Badewa, a financial analyst also based in Vancouver.
Thank you.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Izode.
Thank you, guys. Tonight we are examining another segment in the life of President Muhammadu Buhari tenure as Nigerian president. The reason why we're taking this is a very, very crucial topic or crucial issue that we have to examine in the life of Nigeria, because it matters to us as Nigerians on the way forward as an entity of as a state. Because lately there have been a lot of agitation on various parts of Nigeria. I don't know if I can call it agitation for self-rule or separation. In the east, you have Boko Haram, although that goal is not defined or what they want. In the south, we used to have the militants, Delta militants. And lately, there have been a lot of upheaval in the east by the people from the east agitating for the Biafra state. Guys, we're going to look at that tonight. And there's another person to start this. Well, I want to start with Mr. Obi Mjadibe. What is this agitation? Because it wasn't there maybe 16 years ago. This is a recent thing from the south-south to northeast, and now in the east, people agitating for self-rule. Does it all go well for Nigeria?
It does, and it doesn't. It has always been there. To say that it hasn't been there would be a huge mistake. The late Adelebu from Ibadan of the Ibadan People's Party stated that Nigeria was a political mess, and it has always been a political mess. We have problems as a nation. We need to understand these problems and then deal with these problems. To look over these problems would be a recipe for disaster, and the government has been closing their eyes to these problems over the years. So that's why we have these agitations. Okay,
I'll come back to you. Let me just take it to Ebenezer Badewa. This issue about self-agitation from east, west, and north, what is your take on that, Mr. Badewa?
Yeah, the problem we have is since when we deviated from the first civilian rule and the advent of a military rule that starts slicing the country into state from 3 regions to 12 states, and from there to 19, I think that's the root cause of this problem we are having. So the problem has not been addressed, even with our democracy. Nobody is looking into it. So until we go back to the basis and look at how did we started in 1960 or way before 1960 and pick it up from there, until then, there will be no peace.
I don't know if Mr. Obi wants to agree with that, but that's where the political crisis comes from, because of splitting of people with the same identity to different states.
No, I don't completely agree with him. I partially do, but the problems go way back to the 1900s with the British bringing in unwilling ethnic nationalities and forging them into a nation. And so we've constantly had agitation. Prior to 1960, way back to 1945, we have constantly had agitations. And we have gone on the principle that we can manage it. But we've not been able to manage it. So we need to deal with it. And I have very simple recommendations on how to deal with it. And it's not a difficult thing to do. It's not peculiar to Nigeria.
Okay, what you said you have some recipe or kind of simple reasons to give.
One of the simplest reasons I can give is our national conferences had not worked. So we've had an Institute of International Affairs. Change it to an Institute of Internal Affairs. Let us study our internal economies. What are the concerns of this group? How can we accommodate these concerns?
Okay, the concern that maybe I'm wrong, all right. The concern that I've always got is that people say we are not the same as others. Therefore, let's go. Let's leave us to rule us or to be on our own. Is that not the meat of the story?
No, it's not. It's not. It would be irresponsible for any group to leave Nigeria. And no group can successfully leave Nigeria. And be on their own. We are in Nigeria, and we are in Nigeria for good. We need to make it work. It is that unwillingness to make it work that is the cause of the problem. No one, from what I know, wants to leave Nigeria. But they want Nigeria to work as any other nation on earth.
Nail it on the head, Obi. What is that they want to happen?
They want a nation where there is freedom of movement, where people can live in any part of Nigeria and do their business without fear of molestation. They want peace and security. They do not want religious riots. They want full employment. They want to be paid for doing the work they have done. Just that.
That's a utopian society.
It's not a utopian society. It's happening in other countries.
Okay. Okay, I'll come back to you. It's a very good topic. It's a which issue I'm looking at. And we may not reach a consensus today, but it's something that we need to tear apart and begin to build on it. Now, Mr. Badiwa, you mentioned the fact that it started with the fact that Nigeria was being compartmentalized into different states. Why did you say so? That's the reason. You see,
in Nigeria, power is being concentrated in the center. Everything is about federal government, federal government, federal government. And the same federal government we're talking about, we have no structure. Let every region go on their own and develop at their own pace. Now we know in each region, let's assume the way we have 3 regions before, when you say Igbo Queen in the east, all the Igbos, they respond to it. When we say all Omoduduwa in the west, everybody responds to it. The Hausa too, once they say Assalamu alaikum, all of them respond to it.
Now, Mr. Badiwa, let me quickly cut you short there. When you say Hausas, there's no one unit called Hausa.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but
even
religion and culture.
In Yoruba,
yeah.
I schooled in the Yoruba state. There's no what I call a monolithic society among the Yorubas.
It's true, but we still see ourselves as one. The whole Western region.
So, if an Ijebu man can tolerate an Egba man, why would the Egba man not tolerate an Edo man?
Listen, that's where the Edo see themselves different. You understand me now?
Even the Edos.
I understand, but there are this little culture that bind us together in a way. In a nutshell, we want regional government. All power should not be concentrated to the center.
Mr. Badiwa,
that's what I want to say.
What do you say to arguments like it's an excuse for people to pull away? Because even in families where you have 5 people, there's the politics of who I love most and who I don't. So, even when Yorubas or Igbos decide to go on their own,
yes.
Let me tell you something. I think I'm in Nigeria, and I was born, I know a lot about the Igbos, and I schooled in the Yoruba states. An Igbo man, for instance, I know there are a lot of division. If I'm wrong, put me right.
You're correct.
In Igbo land, there's a language they call Wawa. And that language, that is very, very patronizing to people from Enugu states. You understand? So they are not together. I schooled in Yoruba states. I know that an Egba man does not have too much regard for an Ijebu man. I'm saying that for God's sake. And that is true. So if you lump these people together, okay, we are the same, as according to you, we are the same. But it's not going to solve the problem. So it is with Edo.
No, let me ask you one quick question.
Hold on. The Ishans and Benis, they don't meet eye to eye. No. And that politics has remained forever.
Did Ogbemudia rule Bender State successfully when he was there?
Relatively.
Okay. Did Awolowo and his Western region government, was it successful or not?
Awolowo was not unanimously accepted.
No, if there's nowhere in the world, go to America today, did the whole of America accepted Barack Obama?
So it means your argument that even if you give people their own state, they will still fight.
No, it's not the fact they will fight. America, the first world. Obama has ruled the place now for almost 8 years.
Yes.
What, is the system not working? Did everybody accepted him?
Have you remembered, I hope you have not forgotten that under Obama, a lot of blacks have been shot dead.
That's not the point. These are the problems that
so much discrimination right now.
Listen, sir. We are taking it to all these kitchen differences.
Okay.
We're talking about a country, a region, where there is rule of law, where there is a structure. Everybody will fall into line when this thing is put in place. Power is over-concentrated in the center in Nigeria, period.
Okay.
Let's decentralize Nigeria.
Let me go back to Obi. Yes. Obi, now, what we are saying, I think is a little bit different from the agitations in Nigeria. The Niger data says, this is our oil. It belongs to us. There's no need for you to feed others. The Biafra is saying that they have been so marginalized, and therefore, we have to have our own Biafra state. Boko Haram is saying, we don't need anybody here because the outside influence is corrupting our system. So leave us alone. So yours is different from what they are saying back home in Nigeria. So where do we go from there?
Well, what I can say is that what they are saying is a different way of expressing their disaffection with the way Nigeria is working. They do not want a separate existence from Nigeria. But they are using the agitation for a
blackmail, right?
A blackmail to restate the fact that we want a great nation. We are not having it, and so let's agitate.
Oh, okay. Now, it reminds me of one politician in my village who says the best thing, sometimes it's not always the right thing to demand for something. You can lie to get what you want to get.
Yes.
So these people are trying to blackmail the government, if I get what I'm saying.
Yes, but I want to talk about the protest in eastern Nigeria by people who are agitating for Biafra. There is one reason why you have those protests. You don't have it in Yoruba land, you don't have it in northern Nigeria.
OPC was in Yoruba land.
No. OPC is not agitating for separate Yoruba statehood, just like the East. The only reason why it is happening in the East is that there is a separation between the people and the political leadership. Now, the political leadership in the East goes to Abuja to look after their pockets. And so they do not represent the masses, and they do not take the grievances of the masses.
So it's a kind of a misplace.
It's a kind of misplacement. So if the federal government wants to address that issue, they'll have to go over the head of the political leadership of
so to say, the political leadership.
Yes, because we've had a road between Onitsha and Owerri that could not be completed for 8 years during Obasanjo, and it was blamed on Igbo politicians. Now we've had one from Enugu to Onitsha that has remained uncompleted for about 8 years. It is still the Igbo politicians.
From Enugu to Port Harcourt, the same thing.
So the federal government must make direct investments that will impact the life of Easterners, and those agitations will be attainable.
But is it hard to do?
They have not realized the need to do that.
Because I was discussing with a political analyst that Nigerians are the most grateful people ever that you can meet. What do they need for Nigerians to be happy? Light roads and
security.
And security.
That's it.
So is that difficult for government to fulfill for their citizens?
It's not difficult, but they need to realize the need to do that.
Okay. We will come back to discuss this because this is something that Nigerians want to listen to. At least we from outside who are enlightened, who have seen how states run their system, we can set an agenda for Nigerians and let our brothers and sisters back home listen to us, and perhaps we can take the lead in this direction.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Obi, thank you for showing up, and I appreciate your incisive comment. And Mr. Badewa, we will continue to hammer on this because these are the things that we want to set an agenda for our people back home. Thank you guys for showing up, and I appreciate your presence here.
Thank you.
And I guess whenever I invite you guys, you'll show up. And viewers, we won't go on this. We'll come back to keep on talking about this because this time is too short for us to hit the nail on the head, but we're just beginning to scratch it. And I guess you guys will be interested to listen to what we have to say. And with that, I thank my guests for showing up, and I will be coming back next week. I'm yours sincerely, Joe Ehizode, and I wish you a happy night rest. Good night.